This is what they want to distract you with, stuff like this. This is from the official White House account. Roses are red, violets are blue. Come here illegally and we'll deport you. And it's Donald Trump and Tom Homan, the border czar. But let's talk about what's really going down. The ultimate instant betrayal by Donald Trump of all of his promises, at least that were pushed by the media, that instantly prices were going to drop. Egg prices soar. This is from Fox, up 267%. Just try to go around and try to find eggs, number one, and then try to find eggs that are in any way affordable, or any grocery prices. Grocery prices are up. Gas prices are up. I think there's only a handful of states now that have below $3 gas. With former President Biden, it was, almost the majority of states having below $3 gas. Red states are getting hit hard. Red states like Alabama are finding out that some of the aid that was being provided by the federal government, as well as being cut off, some subsidies being cut off. So people are just having $100 here, $50 there, $100 there added to their bills. This is from the Huntsville, Alabama utilities company telling people that the Community Action Agency in Limestone Communities has notified us that a grant that you receive for $100 is being pulled back by the Trump administration. And this stuff goes a long way to help people. I know the billionaires don't think $100 here or there is helpful for we the people, but it absolutely is. Let me share this with you so you have the full kind of perspective of it. And I want to get into some of the issues with the prices, surging inflation, but let me just show this clip. So this is Donald Trump saying on the campaign. So I want to show you the receipts. So we're 100% conclusive that Donald Trump said that immediately day one prices would get lower, just so you can see for yourself. Here, play the clip.
Mr. President, because of these tariffs, who do you think voters should hold responsible?
Oh, I think what's going to go up is jobs are going to go up, and prices could go up somewhat short term, but prices will also go down. And I think the farmers are going to be helped by this very much.
Then last week in the Oval Office, Donald Trump said the prices may go higher, they may go lower. I don't know. Here, play this clip.
When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
Starting the day I take the oath of office, I will rapidly drive prices down, and we will make America affordable again.
Prices will come down. You just watch. They'll come down, and they'll come down fast.
We will rapidly defeat inflation. We're going to bring your prices down.
Vote Trump, and your incomes will soar. Your net worth will skyrocket. Your energy costs and grocery prices will come tumbling down.
Ever walk into a store and just stare at the wall of wine like it's some kind of cryptic puzzle? Yeah, same. That's why I stopped wasting time guessing and started getting my wine from Naked Wines, where the best independent winemakers deliver right to my door. This podcast is sponsored by Naked Wines. It's 2025. Do you still shop for wine like it's 2005? Well, time to upgrade. Naked Wines connects you directly to world-class independent winemakers so you can get award-winning bottles delivered straight to your door without the massive retail markup. I recently enjoyed a bottle of the Matt Parrish Napa Valley Cabernet, and let me tell you, it was incredible. I love cracking open a bottle, putting my phone away, and actually enjoying the moment with friends and family. Here's how it works. Naked Wines cuts out the middleman, letting winemakers pass the savings on to you. So you get top-tier wine at up to 60% off store prices. No gimmicks, no memberships, just amazing wine. And if you need to pause or cancel, it's super easy. Now is the time to join the Naked Wines community. Head to nakedwines.com/Midas, click enter voucher, and put in my code Midas, that's MEIDAS, for both the code and password to get 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99 with shipping included. That's $100 off your first 6 bottles. That's nakedwines.com/Midas and use code Midas for both the code and password and get 6 bottles for just $39.99. Cheers.
Now, you also remember that after the election, when Donald Trump gave that interview with Time magazine, he said that it's hard to get prices lower, and he tried to act like he never promised that prices were going to get lower. Then he went to the New York Stock Exchange, and he was asked by a reporter, should people be able to, do you want workers to invest in the stock market? He goes, I wouldn't, or I'm not sure because there may be a bad dip. is what he said. Let's just take a look at the headlines right now, right? What were the headlines saying when former President Biden was in office, when they were talking about the economy? They called it a Goldilocks economy. They called it a manufacturing boom, 40,000 infrastructure projects taking place. It seemed every day there were records being set. But now we get headlines like this. This is from the Washington Post. Trump's inflation challenge in 7 charts. Gas prices are rising, mortgage rates are falling, and Americans are feeling worse about the economy. I think it's deceptive to say mortgage rates are falling. It's not like 6.97%. So it's actually up in the aggregate. But anyway, here are some of the stats to think about. Inflation is heating up. Prices are on the upswing. Annual inflation rate, consumer price index. You see inflation now starting to spike up. We got a horrible inflation report for Trump's first month. Americans are down on the economy again. Americans across political parties are souring on the economy. Retail sales fell more than expected in January. Households are bracing for another bump in inflation. Americans expect inflation to worsen in the coming year. Expected changes in prices during the next year. I mean, just take a look at this chart right here. Look at that. Okay. That is a massive jump that people were told through these media narratives that inflation was going to get lower, and now it's spiked. Now people are to believe it's spiking. It's because of all of the chaos that's being caused. But what's the Trump spin on this? So you know what they're saying. This is what they're going. We're in a cleanup phase with the last administration's economic policies, said Kush Desai, a spokesman for the White House. Quote, some of the things we'd like to do are really quick, like deregulation and energy policy. But as far as cutting government spending to reduce aggregate demand, that takes a bit more time to kick in. Again, you saw the clip I shared with you at the beginning of this video. Trump said it would happen immediately. But you want to talk about energy policy? We were energy independent under former President Biden. There was more drilling than at any time in history. And we were exporting more gas and oil than ever before. It was actually a boom of what was taking place there. Then you want to talk about, as far as cutting government spending to reduce the aggregate demand. I looked at the Republican budget. I mean, you are looking to have a $5 trillion tax cut for the billionaires. You're going to propel us into a recession or a depression, and you're not in a cleanup phase. Biden was in the cleanup phase when you handed over the economy in a COVID chaotic world, and Biden turned it around. You added $8 trillion of debt. And by adding $8 trillion of debt, that's what caused inflation, as well as the destruction of supply lines and Trump's mishandling of the PPP program, which went to lots of rich people as opposed to regular folk as well. And Donald Trump just destroyed the economy. Here's what it says. It goes on to say that the latest snapshot of prices released this past week showed an unexpected rise in inflation last month. And it goes, notably, grocery prices also picked up steam, growing at their fastest rate in more than 2 years. Grocery prices, not just eggs. Grocery prices in general. High food costs were a key part of the Trump's campaign as he traveled the country promising to slash prices on bacon, eggs, and apples. Like a total betrayal right there. Then it says, after a burst of post-election optimism, consumers are back to feeling crummy about the economy. It was manipulated optimism because outlets like you, Washington Post and New York Times and whatever, were saying, this is great, this is amazing, things are going to be great. And I'm like, no, they're not. His policies are destructive. They're inflationary, they're recessionary or depressionary. That's what they are. And here's the thing, folks. Some of the economic data lags. What respected economists who I speak to, what they were saying is they expected the bad economic data to hit more like May or June, not like right away. Trump's been so bad, he's basically propelled us into like COVID level chaos already, and it's not even being talked about with the right words. I mean, we are here on the Midas Touch Network, but what do you think happens when 50% of Canada or more boycotts tourism? If it's 10% that boycotts our tourism into the United States, that costs 144,000 jobs and $2 billion in economic damage. Now, let's talk about that times 5. Do the math. And then what about the retaliatory tariffs? What about when Canadians don't buy American goods? What happens when Europeans feel the same way after J.D. Vance shows up in Germany and attacks every European country? You think they're going to buy American products? No, it's a scarlet letter to buy American. So in addition to retaliatory tariffs in response to Trump's tariffs, that'll hurt by itself, but they're not even factoring in the international boycott, and corporate media isn't talking about it. They're covering it up the way they cover up the protest. That's why we need to talk about these things. So when it happens, we're not like, oh, where'd that come from? You know, we're giving you the facts here about what's really going down. It goes on to talk about how economists at the University of Michigan, which administers their consumer sentiment survey, noted the decline in sentiment has been pervasive across political parties, ages, and wealth groups. So it's not like with Biden where all of the Republicans, because they lived in their toxic right-wing rage algorithm, believed everything was horrible, and Democrats and some independents had a normal perspective on the economy of what the objective data showed. No, all Americans right now feel terrible, and people are spending less. Americans kept a tight hold on their wallets in January, spending less at car dealerships, hardware stores, and clothing shops than they did the month before. That's a big data. And the tariffs are harming as well. Gas prices are going up. Americans expect, again, 4.3% inflation or more when it was going down to 2%. Americans believe 4.3%, and you have Trump, like you saw him at the beginning of the video, saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. They can try to spin this every which way. They control corporate media. They control the propaganda machines, or so they think. But we've got this network telling you the truth. Put in the comments below if you've seen, I want to hear from you. If gas prices are going up in your area, let me know. If you're spending less, let me know. If you're Canadian or anywhere across the world and you're boycotting America, let me know. I want to hear from my European friends, my Australian friends, New Zealand friends, South America, you name, wherever you're from, Central America, Mexico, wherever. Let us know if you're boycotting America. I want to hear your stories in the comments also. Maybe I'll do a video where I share your story. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million together. Thank you for watching. We're going to keep on telling the truth here every day. We're going to get through this together, okay?
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.